Hey folks, welcome back to today's edition of Notre Dame Daily. Quick pit stop back at the school, so I'm in my stationary studio here today. Just a quick little change of pace, but as I said yesterday at the bottom of the program, I did want to give my thoughts and sort of my takes on this injury that happened with Notre Dame starting offensive lineman Charles Jagsah. You know by now that the presumptive starting guard suffered a significant injury over the 4th of July weekend. UTVing in Wyoming this past Saturday, 6'7", 330-pound lineman winds up breaking his left humerus during what was a scary accident. There's no two ways about that. These things are horrifying, and we are very lucky that it didn't end any other way outside of just breaking a bone. Shortly after learning of the injury, of course, the Irish staff noted that Jagsah, who was initially expected to begin last season as Notre Dame's starting left tackle before tearing a pec muscle in camp, that he would receive further evaluation once he got back to South Bend during the week. So that's kind of where we left off. And at present, there's really no timeline for Charles's return as he deals with yet another blow to his overall development. You know, watching this young man, the talent jumps off the page. We know how incredibly athletic, fluid he is at the guard positions or the tackle positions on that offensive line. Now, the redshirt sophomore's played in just 4 games during his time in South Bend. And again, while he's incredibly talented, the injuries hinder his ability to develop, and they also stall at the growth and depth of this offensive line unit as a whole. So for me, yes, it's a tough blow at a late time for Notre Dame. But they went through something similar last season with Jagsah's injury and were more than able to recover. It's an O-line group that is young heading into the season, but it features an incredible array of talent. So here's probably what you have now that we know Jagsah will miss at least a couple of weeks. Sophomore Anthony Knapp is going to start once again at left tackle. Billy Shrout will most likely be next to him. All right, so there's your left side. Ashton Craig is going to feature as the starting center, while Emil Wagner and Gerby Lambert will battle, you would think, for the right tackle job, though the redshirt junior Wagner probably is the favorite right now for that position. So at right guard, now that we know Jagsah is out for the foreseeable future, you're probably looking at redshirt sophomore Sullivan Absher being the first in line. Could we see a situation where 5-star freshman Will Black progresses even quicker than expected and slots in to replace Charles? Or blows people away to take the starting left tackle position as the offseason continues, which would then move Anthony Knapp inside? I think it's possible, though at this present moment in time, most likely not on the table. I think Notre Dame, Joe Rudolph in particular, has that plan in their heads. There is mixing and matching that you can do, but I think right now you're probably looking at Knapp left tackle, Shrouth left guard, Craig up the middle. You'll have Wagner opposite Craig, and then Sullivan Absher getting that first crack to replace Jagsah. I think that's how things shape up. Will Black will factor into this as he continues to develop, and then you hope you get Jagsah back in a couple of weeks and he's ready to roll like he was late last season. Also, there has been a lot of banter about the way Charles Jagsah suffered this injury. While yes, it's undeniable that many are going to have the belief that because these athletes are now eligible to be paid because of NIL opportunities, that they shouldn't be putting themselves in harm's way. I get it. I truly get it. But it's hard for me to sit here, removed from the situation, without knowing exactly what happened, having not been there, and crush the kid. I don't think that's safe and smart either. I totally understand the idea that players need to be responsible. That's universal, all right? That's something that we preach as, I coach school baseball team. I'm going to be telling my daughter as she gets older, you're representative of a team, you've got to be representative of yourself and that squad, okay? That's a universal belief. And even though these kids do earn money now, don't we still have to give them opportunities, dare I say it, to still be kids? So just because Jagsah got hurt UTVing doesn't mean he was being reckless or negligent with regard to his personal safety and just blowing off the idea that he's a major part of a team. So I think we need to be very careful with how we approach our opinions of this, especially when we consider that none of us were there. It's a terrible thing. It's another step back for Jagsah and his development because, again, that natural talent is there, but we've only seen it in 4 versions of game action since he's come to South Bend, now the redshirt sophomore. So it's tough. It does stink. But who does it stink mostly for? Charles Jagsah. They're going to get him back this season, hopefully sooner rather than later, and hopefully we get an update on that timeline in the coming days and weeks, which I'm sure that we will. Shifting back into these freshman player profiles, I want to talk about Ethan Long today. 6'3", 200-pound safety from Milford, Connecticut, attended the Brunswick School, where he was a star in both football and basketball, all New England selection in both sports. So the athleticism flies off the page. Coming out of high school, 4th-ranked recruit in all the state, top 40 safety nationally, so the pedigree was there. And those of you that follow recruiting, depending on what outlet you lean on, he was either a 3-star or a 4-star recruit. Committed to ND early January of 24 as an early enrollee, choosing Notre Dame over the likes of Ohio State, Penn State, Wisconsin, Michigan was in there, and a slew of other prominent programs, those on the other side of the country and both close to home in Connecticut. I think the key here for Long, once he announced his decision to attend the University of Notre Dame, he noted that the biggest thing in his ultimate signing with the Irish was what the university can do for him long term. The importance of both football and academics was that ultimate game changer for Long, parlaying those two together, because he understands what a Notre Dame education will mean for him long after football comes to an end. So the reality of the big picture for this young man, outside of being an excellent football player, and we'll see that development is there, but he knows what he wants to do down the road, and he knows that Notre Dame can shape him and be a huge part of that. So you're getting a kid with the moxie, the brains, and the overall athleticism to play high-level ball on a team that's coming off a trip to the national title game. So this is going to be fun. As far as this season is concerned, coming out of high school, Long was sort of a sleeper prospect, but he had that incredibly high developmental ceiling. Scouts that were very involved in following his path that ultimately led him to South Bend had said during that time, strong IQ for the game, which is something that's going to serve him undeniably well in the Chris Ash, Marcus Freeman, Mike Mickens defense. A complete ball hawk with a great physical frame who can basically play anywhere on the second and third levels. That's key. His athleticism jumps right at you. This year, under Freeman, Ash, and most importantly, in most aspects, DB coach Mike Mickens, the developmental process for Long should be fairly seamless. From a present depth chart perspective, you probably have Long slotting in behind Adon Schuler and Tate Johnson at the boundary safety spot. And while Long may not have that immediate impactful role as a safety this season as a freshman, I think it's fair to say that the idea of helping him develop into a high-caliber starting safety, or given his size, the hybrid linebacker rover spot, are very much on the table for future seasons, and that's huge. You'd expect Long to add to that frame that he already has, and if he does that, as we all think, that rover hybrid role sits as very intriguing, because we know that the 25 and 26 classes from a defensive back position and a defensive back group have been very high. For this current season, Notre Dame's starting secondary of Christian Gray and Lennon Moore at the corners, with Schuler and Luke Talich patrolling the safety spots and Devontae Smith at nickel. This is a secondary that's set up to promote just a ferocious defense from top to bottom, really protecting on the back end with a good front four and a really athletic linebacking core. Allowing players like Long to further develop will only benefit, first and foremost, the young man and the program down the road, which is big. And Notre Dame's done a hell of a job the past couple of seasons. Even moving forward in the 27 class recruiting, I've talked a lot about that, and it's been really impressive. And just wrapping up today, Marcus Freeman in the news once again, to absolutely no one's surprise. Won the Dodd Trophy a year ago, given annually to the head coach of a football team who enjoys success on the field while embracing different ideals off it, scholarship and integrity among them. Marcus Freeman named to the 2025 Bobby Dodd Award watch list ahead of Notre Dame's season opener August 31st. 50th anniversary for this award. It's not something I knew going into this report, and of course it's named in honor of the legendary Georgia Tech football coach and athletic director, Bobby Dodd. Marcus Freeman entering year 4, 33-10 overall record. 5-2 in the postseason, which is huge. That playoff resume, of course, includes major wins: Indiana, Georgia, Penn State a year ago, and then a couple of bowl victories over Oregon State and South Carolina. Remember that South Carolina game, back and forth, came down late. It was a great ball game. Also on his resume, really great stat from a year ago: Notre Dame 7-1 against AP ranked teams. So Marcus Freeman, we knows how to get these guys ready for big games, relatability there, cares about the kids, and those are something that are going to skills that and the mindset that will undeniably serve both Freeman and the program well once again this season. And you got the August 31st kickoff, Coral Gables against the Miami Hurricanes. You get a week off after that, and you come home September 7th, week 2 for the home opener against Texas A&M. So a nice honor for Marcus Freeman, who won the award, well-deserved, a year ago, and he's back on that watch list. We'll continue these freshman player profiles tomorrow. Got 2 good ones to go, both on the defensive side. I hope you have a great rest of your day wherever you're watching from. I should be back in the home studio at some point this week, but as always, be safe, enjoy it, and go Irish.